Are you about to watch this video and you're not liked and subscribed to it? Like the video, please. Just go down. It's right there. It's right there.
I did. I hit it. I hit it. Have you hit it?
Welcome back to Starting
Let's
Nine.
Go.
Episode 239. It is start to the week episode. And it's an important episode because it's the dawning of a new era in Seattle, Dallas. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It is. Shout out to the what's the Bellevue Rotary Club?
It is. It's the Bellevue Breakfast Rotary Club.
Yeah, shout out to the Bellevue Breakfast Rotary Club. You guys were in the know
way before everybody.
While ago. Like the Bellevue Breakfast Rotary Club, it's them and then Jeff Passan as far as like newsbreakers go, and we didn't even know it. We had no clue that they were the first line of defense between Major League Baseball news and basically ownership just bending over prospects.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's something that you know. I think when we talk about the ratings of baseball games, like out of market baseball games, and how people are now taking interest in out of market baseball, and the streaming numbers are up and everything, I think it's pretty cool when something like this happens. Jarred Kelenc gets called up by the Seattle Mariners on Thursday. What's today? Today's Tuesday, so 2 days from now.
Tuesday.
So the reports are, and things could change, that Kelenic will get called up on Thursday, and you see that news come across the dash. People that are not Mariners fans are pretty excited about this. Like, that's cool. That's cool. Well, number 4 prospect in baseball, and everyone's like just.
But let's be honest.
What?
Let's be honest. Here's why it's cool. Is because he was playing the way he was early on.
Yeah.
Like, through spring, right? And then you hear what you hear from ownership. You have that blurb come out, and you're like, oh wow, okay. So now he's on your radar a little more, and that's not taking anything away from Kelenic at all. That's just why I think baseball fans outside of Seattle, maybe even outside of the Pacific Northwest, West Coast, are paying attention to this because we're excited about him. He was somebody who was talked about, and his career is something that got kind of thrown into the spotlight for reasons way out of his control, but kind of because of how good he is. That's why you found out about him, but not because he was blasting homers. It's because we're talking about suppressing this dude's trip to the big leagues, talking about delaying that for reasons X, Y, and Z we could go into, we all are aware of. But yeah, it's a great time. What's cool about it too, when you think about it, and it kind of sucks because the service time manipulation is why you look at it this way. But isn't it cool to think like you could have an arrival date and be looking forward to that, almost like a graduation date as a senior? You start your school year, and this date, I've got the cap and gown, we're doing this, parties, blah, 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 blah. And like as a minor leaguer, you don't know when you're getting that call. You just hope to be putting together a good enough season that call comes sooner rather than later, and it's deserving, and people are pumped up about it.
I'm pumped up about it. I mean, I think out of all the prospects that we could see debut in 2021, Kelenic is probably my number 2.
As opposed to
Wander Franco. I'm going to be very excited. I'm going to be very excited / terrified for that.
You know who I want to see? I want to see Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, I mean, he was my pick for Rookie of the Year this year.
So, that's who I'm excited about. But yeah, I just think, unfortunately, the service time manipulation stuff, I think, is why a lot of people who might not have been privy to the Kelenic situation are aware of it now. Who cares? Now they're on board. Now he's on their radar, and that's good for baseball. So you hope he comes up and just starts banging. That'd be great. Not too great. Not against Oakland. That'd be great.
Speaking of Oakland, have you guys named a Game 2 starter yet? Who's it going to be?
Can't tell you that.
Who's it going to be?
Can't tell you that.
Why?
Well, I believe before we were acknowledging the fact that we were recording for legal purposes, you were ready to exchange information with me, and then you felt whatever information you had what was something you needed
I'll
to
tell
keep
you.
close to
Yeah,
the
no,
vest.
no, I can tell
and
you.
you chose not to tell me.
No, I
is-
can tell you. I'll
is
give you
fine.
this information in exchange for the Game 2 starter.
Okay.
Are you going to give it to me? I don't
It
think you
depends
are.
on whether or not I can believe that information.
Well, I mean, the information is correct.
Well, it's probably opinion based.
No,
Which
it's statistical based. It's statistical.
I'll be able to. Okay, what do you got? Some reverse platoon splits that you're excited about?
No, not at all. Not at all.
You know the guys down there have to face at least 3, right? You know
Uh-huh.
that. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
This is just some Mania numbers. That's all.
Oh no! I mean, look, you don't have. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about settling in? You want to talk about getting to them a little later. What do you want to?
No.
What do you,
I mean, I want to know who the Game 2 starter is. So we can talk if you want to play
yeah,
ball.
we can get there. We'll
Okay,
get
who's
there.
that? Who's going to Game 2?
Well, I just don't know. I mean, you're now talking to me about numbers. Like if
Yeah.
I know Sean Manai's numbers. I know his
You do?
numbers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then you don't need to know this information.
No, and I would probably bet that whatever information I know, there's a solid chance the Oakland A's pitching coach has. There's a even better chance the analytical department has that info.
You guys gonna go with a fucking opener?
Whoa.
Whoa!
You writing a book over there? What are you
I'm just asking.
just kicking the tires? No, hey, I understand doing your due diligence. See,
Mhm.
but I don't forget that I brought you and Alex Cora together. I don't forget
That's
that
not true.
I cultivated that relationship. I don't forget.
Alex and I first started communicating in like 2014 or 15 when we were, because I think he was managing in Puerto Rico, and I was like, this Rusney Castillo guy sucks, and he was defending him on Twitter, and we started tweeting back and forth, and
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about your first. Look, the first time you bantered back and forth over the old tweet box is one thing. I'm talking about having brought you two face to face. Hello, this is the manager of your childhood favorite team. Would you like to meet him in person, in the flesh, shake his hand, get to know him? Here you go. I can facilitate. I want to do that for you. Let me do that. Here you go.
Alex Cora gave me his cell phone number on November 9th, 2015.
Did you call him?
No, but I probably texted him.
See?
It was.
So
I met him for the first time on the field in Oakland,
Mhm.
which were.
Oh, would you win a giveaway or something? Were you guys doing? Was that vacation? You and Ellen out on vacation?
Passes that I got through my job at Barstool Sports.
Oh yeah, is that how that happened?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't believe that for a minute. I can actually guarantee, with just based on my insider knowledge of the credentialing process there at the Oakland Coliseum,
Yep.
that Barstool Sports had nothing to do with you and that meeting happening.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Either way,
I digress.
Big 3-game series coming up this week, Tuesday through Thursday. The Oakland A's are cowards and have not named a Game 2 starter yet, but Bassett in Game 1. I think it's Bassett, Evaldi, Erod versus TBD, and then Garrett Richards versus Sean Manaea in Game 3 there.
Yeah. Yep. You got to understand.
You think you're going to get one, or
just coming off of
a 5-5 homestand?
What are we going to get? Or do I think we're going to get this first one today? Is that what you're asking? Probably. Yeah, I feel that way.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think if
Coming
you're going to
off
get
a off
one,
day, 17 game stretch, nice little homestand. It was the longest homestand of the season, so they got some.
yeah,
They got some good
That's bad.
cooking in their bellies,
Bad
ready
to
to
go
hit the
5-5.
road for battle.
longest homestand
Yeah.
of the season. You don't even have a winning record. I'm excited for you. You know, you guys can finally play a good team for once and see what you're made of. Like this is big for you guys.
No, we're in one of the tougher divisions in baseball, so we're
No.
comfortable with the competition we have.
No, actually, the
haven't even-
AL East is the toughest division in baseball.
Rays are good. Orioles making some noise.
Yeah.
Yankees
Mm-hmm.
are a good
Yeah, I mean,
baseball
if you-
team as
if you,
well. I think the Red Sox are in that division. Very streaky ball club, doing well at this point in
Yeah.
time.
And if you look at the AL West, there's one team that has a positive run differential. It's
Mhm.
not even the A's; it's the
No,
Astros.
Nope.
Yeah, there's one team in the
That's
AL
the
West.
kind of dog-eat-dog competition that's going on there in that division. It's a bloodbath. It's an absolute bloodbath.
One team with a positive run differential in the AL West. In the AL East, every team except for the Orioles has a positive run differential. And even the Orioles are negative 13.
Oh, so you guys have a whipping boy is what you're saying. Well, I didn't know that
No.
this was an Orioles hate podcast that you started, but
I mean,
go ahead.
That's
if
right
you must.
around the last place team in the AL East has a negative 13 run differential, and the Oakland A's have a negative 10. So basically, like, the AL West's best team is as good as our worst team. So if you want to talk about best divisions in baseball, it's the AL East.
I didn't say the best. I said one of the best.
Yeah, no, it's the best,
I
like
said- I said
indisputably.
one of the best
Yeah,
is what I said.
yeah. So I mean, I would say the NL West.
We're so
has,
confident we don't even have to name pitchers. That's how I look at it. Like, I don't know who wants to pitch. It's probably something we'll do later tonight after this ball game. Like, hey, all right, well, we knew who that one was going to go. Who's up now? Who wants to crack at it tomorrow? Anybody? I imagine that's what'll happen. I mean, we got guys with broken bones that are like, yeah, fuck, I think I could still pitch. Maybe. I mean, it's the Red Sox.
good luck with that strategy. You know, you are playing the best team in baseball.
So
good luck.
I think it's
Good
just
luck.
it's the team with the most wins in baseball at this point, right?
Yeah, that makes you the best. I would say if you
No,
win
I mean,
the most,
you have the best record.
if you win the most, you are the best. That's usually how that goes.
There's no denying that.
Yep. And the Red Sox have done that. Check out the Starting Nine YouTube channel. And you can the full episodes are on there.
You know, we also need to check out what we've got coming. The Official Visit video series. We're going to be sitting down with some of the top college coaches from some of the top programs across the nation as we gear up for the charge into regionals and super regionals and College World Series season. And this is going to be a look inside of what these programs are looking for, what these programs are all about, and what they want to do with their young stars of today and turning them into the future major league prospects of tomorrow and overall the quality human beings of tomorrow. That's what this video series is going to be about. So again, Official Visit. Look for that a little later on down the line. We've got interviews lined up. We're going to get that fired off. So some more college baseball content coming your way as well.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. We just passed Mother's Day. I know that's a special day for you, Dallas. You threw a
Great day.
complete game shutout against the Tampa Bay Rays many moons ago on Mother's Day.
Yeah,
And,
one of the was just one of the league leading shutouts I threw that year. Sorry about it. The real story, though, Jared,
Yeah.
about Mother's Day this year
Mhm.
is the fans were back in the stands.
Yep.
That was great.
Yeah.
Funny, first time the Rays have been back to Oakland on a Mother's Day since that fateful day
Yeah.
11 years ago.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. That actually got the boys in the production truck thinking, and they went back and realized that when we just played the Detroit Tigers earlier this year, that was on the same date 11 years ago or 10 years ago to the date that I threw my last pitch in the major leagues against that same team, the Detroit Tigers. And then before that, when the A's had played the Orioles in Camden, on that date was the date that I had made my major league debut 10 years ago. So early on, like from the beginning of the season to Mother's Day just now, we played the Orioles 10 years later on the same day that I made my debut in Camden, and then played the Tigers on the same day to the date that I threw my last pitch in the big leagues. And then we just played the Rays on the same date 11 years later down the road on Mother's Day. So just how baseball is weird and quirky like that. Tim Kirchin would appreciate that. But the truth,
Do you think that 2021 is like a tribute to Dallas Braden season?
Oh no, actually, like to understand the context of this, the folks in the production truck were making fun of me because it was like, my God, like, you know, it's one cool thing happens and then boom, the Tigers, like the last pitch you ever threw, like, you know, and then we talked about Maglio taking my ass deep twice. It's just something. Yeah, it was a fun memory.
Was it the same inning?
Yeah, same inning.
Yeah,
same. Not great. Sent down on my birthday, dick.
Yeah.
But Brett Phillips was playing center field for the Tampa Bay Rays on Monday.
Yeah, this was heinous.
My family just trying to watch a ball game in the safety of a luxury suite, Carrabis. And apparently that wasn't safe enough because Brett Phillips, being the charismatic individual he is and engaging with the fans, which I appreciate 1,000% because players just need to do that. They get it. Brett Phillips is a guy who gets it. So he's winging baseballs around the yard to and fro, and he wants to get it up to some fans above the suites. Well, as my grandma said, Brett Phillips just didn't have the strength to get it up there and ended up chucking the ball at the box that my grandmother was in. She ends up leaning over the window, you know, and gives him like the tisk tisk finger wag, you know, and he like apologized very emphatically, you know, gave her an air hug, said Happy Mother's Day, I'm so sorry, blah 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 blah. And it was funny because my grandma couldn't wait to tell me that story. Couldn't wait to just, you know, have fun with it. And she even said, she goes, you know, and I got to say, like, just watching him this weekend, like, it looks like he has so much fun playing baseball. Like, I really liked watching him play. But she was like, he threw a damn baseball at me. And I said, what happened? She was like, well, he was just trying to get it up to the fans, you know, and he threw it and it hit the box that we were in. And I waved at him and told him he needed to aim better, you know, and she was like, but he gave me a hug and he said Happy Mother's Day, and, you know, just that big smile I could see all the way up and it was cool to hear her, you know, express how much it meant to her that interaction occurred. And it just made me realize, like, it could be on our one special day that we get to celebrate together with baseball fans, you know, at the Coliseum, which is amazing, man. We don't deserve the love that we get every year. And I say it every year because it's true every year. We just don't. They treat us like royalty there, and we are very blessed. And so to see my grandma get excited about it is cool. But to see that memory and that day take a back seat towards just having fun at the ballpark again, like, that warmed my heart because I know how much that's meant to fans. And it meant a lot to her. But she's one of just so many fans that I know that are having that experience this year, hopefully, at the ballpark. So shout out to Maverick. Shout out to Brett Phillips and to the Rays. Yeah, it was fun.
Should probably have him on the podcast to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll work on that. Try to fucking assassinate my grandmother. Like, yeah. I can be nice and gentile over the Twitter machine, but that doesn't mean I don't have a direct line to that fucking Oakland A's bullpen. We're dialing it up.
Yeah.
Dialing it up.
Who would you who would be your weapon of choice?
Well, first of all, that's not the case. Let me clear the air there. I'm not having anybody drill Brett Phillips. I love the dude, love his game. That's not what we're, just in case anybody wanted to get crazy there.
Hypothetically.
Dallas said it on his podcast. He was going to drill Brett because, hey, you never know. One might fly, you know, but not because I made the call. But yeah, let's think. Who throws the hardest down there?
I don't know. Who throws the hardest down there?
That's probably Lou Trevino.
Trevino throws the hardest?
What, 100 miles an hour? Those guys down there throw 100 miles an hour.
I don't know. He hit 100.
Yeah, he'll fuck around and dial up 99.
All right.
Yeah, like, I'm not talking blowing hundos consistently. Yeah.
Huh.
But that's just a running two-seamer. Maybe Well, let me think. Yeah, well, maybe Jake Diekman, because it left on left, it's just a apprehensive at bat anyway, coming out of right field.
I feel like if Jake Diekman hit someone, it would be a little sus. He's usually got pretty good control. So if he dots someone up, it's a little.
Diekman, Diekman is not. Jake Diekman is not afraid to let one go, and I don't mean. I'm not meaning like he'll hit you. I mean he's not afraid to throw a fastball nowhere near home plate. Yeah, it'll happen.
It'll happen.
Yeah, Sweet Lou just threw 2 curveballs the other day that bounced in front of the left-handed batter's box.
All right, we'll see what happens in this series. What do you got? You got A's 2 out of 3. I'm assuming.
I mean, would I have it any other way?
Yeah, I feel like you'd probably say A's sweep.
No, that's aggressive. That's aggressive. Depending on how the approach that we're going to take game 2 goes. That's, I mean,
Was that supposed to be Luzardo?
You got to understand. We just went through 17 straight days with no off day and just had the first off day. So there's phone calls being made, making sure guys are okay. How you feeling? You okay with bouncing back? Do you need a little rest? What do we got?
So you guys are a little soft, like you need to be.
Those conversations have to be had. No, I mean, we got guys with a broken finger. You know what I mean? We got guys coming back. Who knows?
I mean,
Who fucking knows?
Interesting. I guess we'll see. Wade Miley threw a fucking no-hitter. No hitters getting out of control. No hitters getting out. I mean, I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, because there's so many.
Baseball, Jared. It's the baseball.
I don't know.
It's the baseball. What they didn't account for is if you make the ball a little lighter, maybe it's going to be a little easier for the dudes throwing it to throw it a little harder and make that shit move a little more. So, when it gets barreled up, maybe it flies, but at the rate it's getting barreled up, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We are too good. We pitchers. Me, no. Dudes today, absolutely. Way too good for anybody. That's why I fired off the tweet that I fired off.
What did you say?
I feel bad for the children growing up today who want to be big league hitters. Like, it is not a route that I would want to go. It's just not. Like, the game is not going to get any easier for you. It's not going to get any easier.
Well, eventually you'll hit a wall. Like, eventually you will reach the max velocity that a human can throw.
But we're watching teams manipulate that line. So instead of having the one guy that can blow the hundos for 7-8 innings and having 5 of those dudes in a rotation, we're not there yet, right? But where are we at? Where everybody in the bullpen now throws 95 plus. 10 years ago wasn't the case. Fast forward 10 years, that is the case. So what is the step from here? 10 years from now, the majority of the guys in the rotation are going to be featuring that kind of velocity. But what's going to happen is we're not going to be having these 6 and 7 inning outings. We're going to have the 4 and 5s. Why? Because there's guys in the bullpen that can do what the guys in the rotation are going to do as well. So manipulating the rotation and the bullpen in conjunction with each other, knowing that you're basically going to be handing out innings to these guys instead of just like seeing how it goes, and maybe you'll have a role when we're up, maybe you'll have a role when we're down. Everybody's going to get equal love. And the velocity is just going to continue to increase. But that's why I joke about like the only way it's going to happen.
If everyone's throwing 100, then no one's throwing 100, because if like big league hitters are going to be able to adjust to that, and like whatever, like if everyone is throwing 100 miles an hour, then a big league hitter 10 years from now is like that's going to look like 90 flat to them.
The adjustment could happen, and I don't want to say overnight because guys have to get back to basics to an extent, but the adjustment can happen on the hitting side sooner rather than later. Because guys could start to devolve from the approach that has them just trying to bludgeon the baseball, and they could start becoming a David Fletcher of sorts, where you're finding value in putting the ball in play with frequency. And now you're finding value in being indefensible when it comes to the shift, where you don't have 4 guys standing in the outfield with the other infielder standing in front of the 4 outfielders on the outfield grass. Essentially, a first baseman and whoever you want to stick on the left side of the infield are the only 2 infield. That's like, think about it. What if a team who is one of the most shifted teams in baseball decided that today, when we see the shift, we're going to play against the shift. So, a la DeGrom the other day, right? They got the shift on. They're not looking for him to bunt or whatever, and he bunts. Well, it's DeGrom. It's a pitcher. But let's go through the whole lineup. And if there's guys that are being given the left side of the infield, let's just try to take that approach for an entire day. What does the game look like? How does it unfold? Do teams eventually quit defending that if taking advantage of the shift continues to like pour out runs? What happens?
I mean, I don't really want the game to continue down that path, if you know what I mean. Like when we're talking about, because I've used this example.
It's going to become a carnival game.
Well, hold on.
Where
I've used this example multiple times about how 2010, 2011, if there was a guy in Major League Baseball who threw 100 miles an hour, you knew his name because he was almost like a circus act. And now, like, there are guys in the league that will throw, like, proving my point. I forget his name. There was a dude that was came out of the bullpen over the weekend, and he blew 102. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I was like, I've never heard of this person before, and they throw 102. 10 years ago, that person would have been on SportsCenter as, like, the next big thing. Like, he's a freak. It's like, now it's like, yeah, 102. Like, it still is, like, interesting, and it is still, like, exciting to see 102, like, come up on your broadcast. But at the same time, it's like, JD said this. I think JD was talking about this like a month or so ago. He was basically saying, you know, like a few years ago, you know, like there was one guy that come out of the bullpen and threw 100. It was Aroldis Chapman. Now every team has a guy that comes out of the bullpen and throws 100. So over time, it's like the best of the best hitters are going to get adjusted to that. Like the best of the best hitters are going to, it's like, yeah, okay. Like if you start seeing 100 every day, that becomes easier to hit if you're one of the best hitters in the league.
But we're
like
getting to the
it
point.
loses its like holy shit factor.
But it doesn't lose the physical property of being difficult to square up with any sort of consistency, especially if your approach is to swing as hard as you possibly can.
You don't think it
That's
gets easier if you start to see it more?
No, it undoubtedly does. That goes with anything.
No doubt.
That goes with anything. What I'm saying is we're at the point where the velocity is such and is so great that the ability to adjust and create a mean of sorts, that median level of adjustment, like
yeah,
the ceiling could just be too high. Like 100 miles an hour could just be too high for guys to try to continue to take this approach that we're seeing. Jarred, we've got the worst offense in baseball since 1968, dude. And that is when they collectively got together and were like, we have to do something. We have to do something. Otherwise, with what we're seeing from these guys on the mound right now, we know it's only going to get better. Like Bob Gibson just showed up, and boys, it ain't getting any worse than him, okay? Like they're only going to get better. Few and far between. These animals that just show up on the baseball field from time to time through generations, those guys are going to become more frequent, and they're only going to get better. And that's what has happened, Jarred. Science, dietary advancements, the athlete, and I've said this about Tommy John. I've said this about all the injuries we experience.
It's improving.
The athletes are as big and as fast and as strong as we have ever been. Ever. And we are doing things at a rate that we've never seen. So we encounter all of these injuries and we wonder why. I don't wonder why. It's because we're bigger, faster, stronger than we've ever been, and we're trying to do things at a greater rate than we've ever done them. And we're putting stress on body parts that have never experienced this kind of stress. So evolution is what is going to have to happen, where our ligaments are going to have to just start to get stronger because we're chucking shit at 100 miles an hour on the regular. Like, I don't know that that's going to happen. It happens for baboons because they all swing from fucking trees, right? Well, not every human is getting a call to go dial up a 100-mile-an-hour fastball on the bump for somebody. Right. So I don't know how long that's going to take for the human body to evolve to be able to handle this kind of torque and this kind of pressure. But I'm serious when I say it. You're going to have to move the mound back. You're going to have to do something if you think that you're going to save this game of baseball. If that's what you're doing, like if the offense is, because guys are not going to shift their approach as long as they're being paid to do what they're being paid to do, which is punch out 150 times, hit 30 jacks. We got a spot for you. We got a paycheck for you.
Yeah, right now, like the league average is 234 with a 703 OPS, which is better than I would have guessed. But, like, the thing is, and I know that people are complaining about the offense being down across the board and, you know, pitchers are too good and we got to do something about this and look at all the no-hitters. But at the end of the day, you could still make the case that there is more talent in Major League Baseball right now than there ever has been in terms of the young stars. And these guys are still putting up crazy numbers. I mean, like, are we really going to say that offense is down across the board when, like, I think when you really start to have a problem is when you look up and, like, Ronald Acuna Jr. is hitting fucking 234 with a 680 OPS, and it's like, well, yeah, the game, we might have to do something about this. Like, when we have these super talented hitters that can't do shit anymore because of how talented the pitchers are, then it's different. But when you still have the stars being stars, I mean, I don't give a fuck if your fucking career 220 hitting shortstop is struggling. It's like, who cares?
You got to remember, this conversation is all in context, and it's all under the premise that we're trying to generate more offense to liven the game up. That's what everything that I've just said is based on, right? Like, if you're trying to generate more offense, the way things are going right now, you're not going to be generating any more offense with the way that the art of pitching is evolving on the mound. Like, if things stay as it is right now and pitching continues to develop the way it is, you don't have a shot. You do not have a shot of generating more offense without changing the rules, changing the physical dimensions of the game, or, and this is the last one, this would be the quickest adjustment, but the toughest one, is to get a wholesale shift in approach on the diamond, where there's 2, maybe 3 guys in a lineup that are going to pop 30, 40, and then everybody else is okay with being someone who might run into 15, but is going to hit 280.
I mean, we're only like a year or two. We're a year or two removed from like the Minnesota Twins setting the single season home run record, and they had like 5 guys that hit 30. Like, I understand that it's May 11th. Like, I get it. Pitching is becoming more advanced, and they have more information than they've ever had before. Strikeouts are through the roof, and across the league, the offense is down. But the best hitters are still hitting. Bottom line. I mean, the guys that are dragging down the overall numbers are the guys that, I mean, they're not superstars. Like that's when I would really have an issue with the sport, is when if I tune into a game or I pay a ticket to go to the ballpark and Mike Trout is hitting fucking 240 because the pitching is too difficult.
The idea is that fan, though, the thought over time, maybe you stop tuning into Mike Trout or you stop tuning in altogether because it's like, look, I know the other guys in the lineup aren't going to do much. I'm really only here for Mike Trout. His AB is going to come up in another hour or so. So, But what if there were 2 other guys that you were excited about that were hitting ahead of Mike Trout or behind Mike Trout that had a game that got you excited to pay attention to. Maybe one of those dudes is the top 3 in stolen bases in baseball, and not with 6, but with like 26. Now you're like, oh, you know what? This dude gets on base. They might be fucking hitting and running. Like, you know, we don't think about that. That's gone now. That's all gone now. You don't think about that kind of stuff. Like that part of baseball that gets you excited is almost gone. You're numb to what that looks like and what that feels like. Like, do you know how exciting it is to watch a hit and run get executed? A middle infielder cover the bag, and the hitter put his bat to ball skill to use and hit behind the runner into a vacant hole, watching that runner go from first to third. Like, it's just, that's the game in motion. That's beautiful to watch. As opposed to watching 5 to 6 pitches, all of them close to 100 miles an hour, and a guy swinging wildly. And at the end of it, the radar gun says 100. That guy drags his back to the dugout, and I'm supposed to be entertained. Mm-hmm. Well, I am, because I like 100 miles an hour. It's fun. I like watching hitters get dominated. But is that how you sell the game?
No. I mean, I would agree that there needs to be, but this is a whole completely different discussion about how do you make the game more interesting, and how do you create more action, and how do you eliminate time in between action. It's. I mean, we've been having this conversation for years now, but the main point was that Wade Miley threw a no-hitter, and it's already the 4th no-hitter of this Major League season, and we almost saw 2 no-hitters in one night because of Sean Manaea going into the 8th with a no-hitter, which would have been his 2nd no-hitter of his career. And this would have been right after John Means threw a no-hitter last week. Then you almost had 2 in the same
just
night.
After Carlos Rodon threw a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Shout out to the lefties.
Yeah.
Just carving people. Yeah. And not to leave Joe Musgrove out, who threw the San Diego Padres' first no-hitter.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
Oh, and also notable achievement by Madison Bumgarner. That's right. Remember that.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball has chosen to acknowledge Madison Bumgarner's 7-inning no-hit effort as a notable achievement.
Well, I agree. It's not a no-hitter.
Yeah, it's again, under the context and premise, that's exactly what it is.
No,
it is a no-hitter.
They changed the rule that it has to be 9 innings, and it wasn't.
No, that's the laughable part, is like, just because we can laugh at the rule getting changed, it's okay to have a problem with that. Like, we don't just skip over the fact that the rule being changed is asinine and a joke in itself and then just accept it.
What?
That's not what we're here to do.
No.
That's a fucking joke.
Dallas.
Changing the rules a fucking joke.
Dallas.
Because everything else you're going to do in the context of that game.
You yourself threw a perfect game in Major League Baseball. If someone else threw a fucking perfect game in one of these 7-inning doubleheaders and tried to say that they had the same accomplishment as you, you'd be like, no, like, it's not the same thing.
Jared, here's the thing. Here's the beautiful part about that. I wouldn't have to say a word. That individual would never even take up that argument.
Right. So then what are you saying?
I'm saying that they, being baseball, created the parameters. They made it an official game. They made everything about the game official. All of it is going to count for the record books, everything, all of it. We're just now drawing lines on notable achievements, on things that could impact the history books that we don't want to impact the history books. That's the difference. Does that not make sense to you? Like, you understand that, right? Like, if a guy were to hit 5 home runs in the first 5 innings of that game, that counts just the same. Even though it was only a 7-inning game.
Yeah.
Why not the asterisks?
It's apples and oranges. Like, the rule
It's not.
It is. Like, the rule is, like, if you hit 5...
You keep going to the rule. I'm not going to go to the rule until we can agree that you don't just get to create rules.
Then you hit 5 home runs in a game. Like, you've hit
but it was
the
in a
5 home
7-inning
runs.
game. It was in a 7-inning game.
But you still hit 5 home runs. Like, it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's weird. Well, no, it does, because it was in a 7-inning game, and we got to remember, achievements in a 7-inning game We get to pick and
This
choose
is
which ones don't mean it.
This is apples and oranges. If I hit 5
It's
home
not.
runs in a 9-inning game and I hit 5 home runs in a 7-inning game, I still hit 5 home runs. If
You
I
are correct,
throw
but
a no-hitter,
you did it in a 7-inning game.
If I
you did
throw
it in a
a
7-inning
no-hitter,
game that we're not calling a full 7-inning game until you don't make a
the rule
notable achievement.
specifically says that a no-hitter has to be 9 innings. So if it's 7 innings,
and
then
you
it's not a
choose
no-hitter.
to just accept that. You choose to accept
That's
that.
the rule.
And go,
There's a rule.
Jared,
It's
is laughable. It's
So
Jared.
Your rule, like
Jared, you can
your
go to jail. You can go to
your
jail for
argument
spitting on the
isn't
sidewalk,
like
Jared.
with-
You go to jail for spitting on the sidewalk. That's a rule. That's a rule.
Sure,
It's a rule.
I guess, but like, this is what a fucking
Is it fair to
weird
call it laughable?
argument. The rule
No, it's
is
not a weird
you
argument.
have to pitch
It's-
9 innings for it to be a no-hitter. Like that's the rule.
Do you not understand? And I told you for the 5th or 6th or 8th time, we can look at that rule. Just the very think about this. Let's play this conversation out as the shot callers of this rule. Okay, we're in a room, and we're gonna go. All right, we got 7-inning games. What do we want to do with them? You want to make them official? Hell yes. What about them's going to be official? Fucking everything. Like all the runs scored, all of it, all of it's going to count, all of it. Yep, fucking all of it. All right, where are we going to draw the line? Well, I guess if you do anything cool, like if you start setting records of any sort, we're going to have to say that had to happen in a 9-inning game. Okay, so then is the 7-inning game official or is it unofficial? No, it's official. It's official. Well, if all the stats in that 7-inning official game that you're calling official, if all those stats count, then why are you choosing to draw a line for certain achievements? Well, shit, I don't really know, and I don't really have a good answer for that other than I want my historical achievements to be 9 innings or more, and I don't really have a justification for that either other than that's old school, and that's how it should go. Oh, great fucking conversation. Great. That makes no fucking sense. But Jared,
I don't understand
they
what
made it a
argument
rule.
you're trying
They
to
made it a
make
rule.
when you said that if anyone threw a perfect game in 7 innings, that it's not the same thing, but then a no-hitter is. What do you?
I didn't say that at all.
I said if someone
didn't say that at all.
If someone threw a perfect game in a 7
and
inning
what was my
doubleheader,
response? And what was my response?
you said they would never say that around you, but that you would acknowledge it.
I didn't say that they would never say that around me. I said I would never have to defend that, and they would never take up that argument. And that was in response to you.
But you're
asking
taking
me,
up the argument for a no-hitter. What's the difference?
I'm taking up the argument. Perfect game, no hitter. I don't care which one you throw. If you do it within the confines of an official game that the league has set for you to perform under, then it should count.
I think it's just
Why
like a
are they
completely
that's
separate
my
category.
question.
Like when we were looking at the statistic, when Jay Hay tweeted out like Dallas Braden's complete games compared to Garrett Cole's complete games, and I was like, are any of those 7 inning? Like, because I think it's bullshit if you say like it's a complete game. Like it should be like there should be CG and then there should be CG7. Like I want to know the difference that, oh, this guy threw like 3 complete games that year. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, but 2 of them were 7-inning complete games. And it's the same thing. Like if you want to acknowledge it as a no-hitter, acknowledge it as a 7-inning no-hitter. Like it's not the same thing because it's just what, like how many.
And do you understand now that I'm again, please understand. I'm agreeing with you. What I'm just trying to show, all I'm saying is that's not how it's laid out. I agree with you, Jared. Isn't there like a little punctuation mark that you can make that they could put next to numbers just to kind of signify that?
I don't
right?
even think it should be an asterisk because then it's almost like, well, it's
No,
just a separate category.
People are hung up on that. People are hung up on that as well. All the asterisk does is identify something that could be a little different, a little quirky. And so you scroll to the bottom of the page and you're like, oh, what's that asterisk mean? It means that was a 7-inning. Oh, okay, got it. And you move on. But we don't want to do that. And that's laughable as well, Jared. So I laugh at all of this. And it's under the understanding that if baseball is putting these parameters on this and then choosing to hand select what performances they will and won't acknowledge, that's a fucking joke, bro. That is a joke. That's what I'm telling you. And it's okay if you want to just quickly gloss over that and move past it and go, well, Dallas, that's the rule. So from there, I can play in that sandbox too. But I need you to know that before we even get into that sandbox and get our shovels out, it's a fucking joke on every level. On every level. Because, and I said this when he did it, you think Mad Bum wants to be the guy who gets announced as having thrown the no-hitter, knowing how he feels about finishing a job, going 9, blah, 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 blah. That's why I laughed at him being the dude that is in that position. Because he would never, ever tell you that he threw a no-hitter because it wasn't a 9-inning no-hitter. But I believe he would also go, hey, if you're going to make these games 7 innings, I like, please explain to me why it's not. And I'm all ears.
I'd love to hear how he feels about it. Because he's almost like the perfect pitcher for something like that to happen to, because he is
that's why I said
the old school guy. Like I guess.
Like, there's nobody better. There's nobody better for that to have happened to. Nobody cares that much about, like, just doing the right thing, being the sheriff on the mound, right? Like, nobody.
Yeah, I wonder how he feels about it. Like, how do you explain that to your kids someday? Like
there's nobody more old school than that, because think about this. He's going to be having, he will be celebrated, and rightfully so, for the postseason heroics that he put on display. That dude who took the ball under those terms for that period of time, that guy has a 7-inning no-hitter under his belt. You think you're going to hear about it from him?
I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't know. I
like, that would be like, if we interviewed Mad Bum for 3 minutes, I would start with that question and then be okay with it.
How would you phrase it? Did you throw a no-hitter?
No, it'd be very simple. I know you. And I know how you approach this game, and I know how you feel about performing in this arena. Knowing that you only had to complete 7 innings, and you didn't allow a hit. Have you thrown a no-hitter? And then let him go from there. Because he would explain. He would give us what he felt about it.
Yeah, I wonder what he would say. I wonder what he would say.
Yeah. But just for the record, if you're going to call it a 7-inning official game, I just want you to explain to me where you start to draw the lines on historical performances and whether or not they'll be acknowledged. Is it only pitching performances that don't get acknowledged?
I mean, what offensive performances wouldn't be legitimate?
I don't know,
it's
Jared.
not the same.
I don't know. I'm just yelling right now. I'm just yelling.
Yeah, there's no offensive comparison. Like, you can't be like, oh, I hit 3 homers, but I didn't get that fourth at bat because it was a 7-inning game, so let's just call it a 4-homer game. Like, you can't do that.
That's why I used the 5 homers in 5 innings of a 7-inning game as an example, because nobody's hit 5 homers, and if you did, it would be acknowledged. And even if you did it in 5 innings in a 9-inning game, it would be acknowledged. But, here's this little quirk where you've done it within the confines of an official game, but there's some statistics that aren't being acknowledged, even though they're being achieved in an official game sense. So, how do you play this out, Mr. Record Holders or record keepers?
I don't get that comparison, by the way. Like, if you hit 5 homers, you hit 5 homers. It doesn't matter how long the game is.
And if in an official game, I pitch the first inning all the way to the last inning that you've forced me to pitch, and I don't allow any hits, we have a name for that. But you're choosing not to identify it that way
I still
for
don't
whatever
get the
reason.
Comparison. If I hit 5 homers in a 7-inning game, I have a 5-home run game. It doesn't matter how long the game is.
You're absolutely right, Jared. It's a historical achievement that has been achieved in an official game that is less than the standard length of an official game. That's where the question gets raised.
I guess, but you've still completed the task. If you've hit 5 homers in 7
Correct,
innings.
Jared, but you've completed the task in an official game that isn't as long
has to be
as the regulation
innings.
game.
That is
only
the
because
rule.
they made the rule, Jared.
But
only because
what
they
do you
made
mean?
that rule.
Like I killed a guy and I guess I got to go to jail because they made a rule about going to jail for murder. Like that's the rule. They made a rule that a no-hitter has to be 9 innings. I don't know what the debate is.
We're not debating that. We never have been.
So I don't get the 5 home run comparison. Like if I have hit 5 home runs in 3
Do you understand
innings,
the premise of a historical achievement being achieved in a time frame and under parameters where other historical achievements are not being acknowledged?
Sure.
Do you understand
yes.
that?
Like
Okay,
the
so that's
Babe
what- that's it.
Babe
That's it
Ruth
right there.
that's fictionally hitting 60 and he did it in fewer games and everyone's like, oh,
that's
Roger
where it
Maris hit
stops.
61 and it was in more games.
That's where it stops.
Yeah. Like I get all that.
So that's where it stops. That's it. Right there. That's it. It doesn't go any farther than that.
But the comparison that you were trying to use about the offense, because there is no offensive comparison. Like there's no.
So here, let me get your brain off of the fucking 5 homer thing. All right, here, let's do this. Notable offensive achievement is recorded in a 7-inning game.
Yeah.
Are we going to acknowledge it?
So say a guy hits for the cycle in a 7-inning game.
No. You're getting hung up on that. You're getting because the cycle is not like no. People hit for the cycle before 7 innings, before 9, whatever. Like it's a cycle. Like I'm talking historical achievement. Like do you understand my point? Like you're looking at a cycle like it's a historical achievement. I would agree. It's pretty cool. Like we should take note of that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. No hitters, pretty cool. We should take note of that. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. But they've thrown parameters on how you can throw a no hitter. Like only 9 innings. Oh well, fuck. Okay, well, what's the like? Why are you coming up with this rule? Where's it coming from? Where are you choosing?
No problem with that rule. Like I fully support that rule. Like which is wild that I'm more passionate about it than you are because you threw a perfect game in Major League Baseball and you would tell me like what were the most difficult outs, the 8th, the 9th. So like if a guy went out there and threw a no hitter in 7 innings, if I were you, would be like, yeah, that's cute, but like those 8th and 9th inning outs, those are the fucking hard ones because if you ask like every single time that a guy throws a no-hitter, post-game press conference on the field, what are they always asking him? Hey, when did you notice? Like when did it like click in your brain that you had that thing going? They always say like around the 7th. Yeah, around the 7th. Some people don't even fucking notice that until the 7th inning that they have.
Shamania just told the media that it was the 3rd inning that he noticed he had a perfect game going.
That's an outlier.
3rd inning.
That's an outlier.
Inning.
I
can't just let you throw those blanket statements around.
I mean, John Means said around the 7th inning. So
I'm just telling you that that's not the case for everybody.
It's not. No. I'm not saying everybody. Of course, it's not everybody. But if you listen to those post-game press conferences, generally it's around the 6th or the 7th inning where they notice that they have a perfect game or a no-hitter going. So it's just like that 8th inning and that 9th inning
I don't
everything.
understand why you are having such a hard time understanding where I'm coming from here. It is very simple. Like I told you, if anybody threw a perfect game, as this is the example you used, and stood next to me, and they were like, hey, I threw a perfect game. Mine was in 7 innings. Would I be looking at them the same? Would they be looking at me like we've done the same thing? The answer is no. The answer is no. But if that is achieved under parameters where that's going to be acknowledged and everything else that is being recorded is going to be acknowledged, then I don't know how I can acknowledge it as that. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So do I think that the rule is ridiculous, that they've made it 9 innings? What I'm saying is if you're going to make games 7 innings official, the idea of creating a rule that makes certain achievements only effective if they're completed in 9 innings while you have 7-inning official games, then you're creating a big gray area, and it's going to piss a lot of guys off because there are monetary repercussions here. Who's to say a guy doesn't throw a couple no-hitters in the same season? Unfortunately, they're 7-game no-hitters. You know the difference between taking 2 no-hitters into arbitration or free agency as opposed to no no-hitters? Probably a little different.
Mm-hmm.
That helps. So, like, what are we doing here? That's where guys are like, hey, man, for record purposes, for monetary purposes, like, we got to get this ironed out. Like, Mad Bum's not too worried about taking a 7-inning no-hitter into his next contract negotiations. That's not the case. But let's say John Means dials up another one. But it's a 7-inning one. Damn. Does it mean the same? So we got to get that squared away. That's all I'm saying. Just if you're going to call it a 7-inning game, let's figure the rules out.
What this all circles back to
is Wade Miley threw a no-hitter.
And also 7-inning doubleheaders are fucking stupid. I hate them. I think that they're the worst. I hate them when my team is playing them. I hate them when other teams are playing in them. As a baseball fan, I don't enjoy that it makes the 4th inning more intense. It's like, I don't give a fuck. Play 9 innings. It's baseball. Anyways, what do you know about the zebra, Dallas?
I believe they've got you covered in a multitude of ways, Jim.
They really do, and it's been quite the tool to be able to use.
Well, it has. It's making sure that you've got you're giving yourself all the best options. Is that fair to say?
I would say that's more that way.
When you're talking about making sure that you're in the right space, you're making sure that you're covered. Zebra is the folks to go to. Why? The late night pizza deliveries, the mini succulent trios, the online trainer you ghosted after a few weeks, all this stuff. Think about all the quarantine purchases you made, right? Well, how about the biggest purchase of the year? Insurance. Mm-hmm. You know how much Americans overspend on car and home insurance? Billions every year. Billions. By billions, we blow money on that shit. That's insane to think about. That money could have been spent on so many other cool things. You could have built lots of projects. You could have had some cool costumes hanging in your closet. But instead, no. Overspending. Well, that's where Zebra comes in. Okay? Zebra is the nation's leading insurance comparison site for car and home insurance in minutes. Like right now, boom. You can compare policies from every major provider for free. Instead of having to deal with people, you get them to come to you all on one independent marketplace. After a few quick questions, the Zebra, it pairs you with people that are right for you in the insurance company. Right for you. That's going to help you save time. It's going to help you save money. No dilly-dallying around. You can buy online or over the phone with one of their licensed insurance agents. It's optional. I like options. There are no hidden fees, no bullshit, no fine print that's going to hem you up later down the line. Nothing about your personal info. It's all very cut and dry. And best of all, the Zebra has no stake in the policy you choose. So it's not like they're pushing stuff that they're going to get a cut on the back end of. They're just here putting you in the best possible position to win. They're just there to find the coverage that's right for you. That's it. So please, make insurance your smartest purchase yet. It is insurance, after all. It's to insure you in case shit happens, right? Like Dave Chappelle said, in case shit. Or was that Chris Rock?
That's Chris Rock.
Visit thezebra.com/starting. That's THEZEBRA.com/starting.
Some weekend stuff to get to. Oh, Monday was a weird light schedule. By the way, so on Monday, Morning Wood comes out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I start Morning Wood every episode by saying happy insert pitcher that I like that's starting today. And I did happy Alex Morning Wood Day because Alex Wood was starting for the San Francisco Giants on Monday night. And my qualification, like you don't get like a happy insert name day. You've got to have like a 3 or like a sub 3. And even like this early in the season, like it's almost like you've got to have a sub 2 because there are a lot of guys that still have a sub 2. So I'm not really throwing around like happy, fucking whoever Kevin Gausman day yet. Not doing that. But Alex Wood to start the season, he's got a sub 2. And so that's why I threw the happy Alex Wood day, and he saw it, and he said he felt pressure to perform in that start because he got his own day on Morning Wood. What did he do, Dallas?
Deal fest.
7 innings, I believe 1 earned, 8 punch-outs.
8 punchies.
Yeah. Yeah. So Alex Wood, he's for real for those San Francisco Giants that Dallas said no fucking chance in goddamn hell that they're going to make the playoffs. And by the way, I can tell you, Dallas, that take has made its way into the Giants clubhouse.
Oh, trust me. I know it has. I mean, I was talking to the skipper, bud. I was talking to the skipper. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's all good. And look, I obviously I know a lot of those guys over there. And it's fun to be able to poke that fun. Am I backing down from it? No. It's fucking May. All right? It's May.
So, I mean, that's just they've got a chance to build on what they've got going on.
You're absolutely right. Look, let me give them some love right now, Carrabis, because as of right now, they've got the second best run differential in their division behind the third place Los Angeles Dodgers. They are at a plus 29. So as far as the Giants are concerned, they've got a top 5, top 8, I think, run differential in baseball.
Yeah.
Doing. It's been a great start to the season for the Giants. That wasn't what I was asked. But I can acknowledge that right now, that it's been a great start to the season for the Giants.
What did Kapler have to say to you?
I'm going to leave that between us.
Did he call you out on having a terrible take?
That's just him and I having some fun.
That's just him and I. Well, who started the conversation?
I did.
Oh,
I did. Yes, okay. I started the conversation.
Interesting.
This was some fun banter back and forth.
Yeah.
But speaking of the weekend, Jarred.
Well, there's
St. Louis. What do you got?
Some disappointing, like the goddamn Royals have lost 8 straight games.
It's been a slide. It's been a bit of a slide.
I mean, that is the word. It has been a slide.
They are 1-9, I think, over their last 10 ball games.
Well, yeah. I mean, they've lost 8 straight goddamn baseball games. And they were a fun story for the first month of the season, but I think that it's over for that good story.
Oh yeah, it's the second worst run differential in baseball, I believe, behind the Detroit Tigers, right? Who are probably knocking on the door.
-31.
Second or third.
There's no one that's worse than that. No, the Pittsburgh Pirates. You raise it.
I need to talk about that.
Pittsburgh Pirates are worse. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had a rough go the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It's too bad. Lump. No big deal. But you know who's doing well?
Your St. Louis Cardinals.
That's right, bud. Let's take a trip over to the NL Central. You see Waino,
sure.
Mother's Day, slice and dice.
What do you go, 8 1/3?
8 1/3. Mm-hmm. Yachty got 2 knocks as well. Dylan Carlson's been swinging the bat well over the last week or so.
He's been hot.
Yeah, doing well. I mean, and how about Arenado? The Rockies come in. This is the best part. The Rockies fly into town so that they can stare a guy that they're paying a gajillion dollars to play against them right in the face.
Yeah.
And what's he and his team end up doing?
Shit down their throats.
They sweep the Rockies. Arenado hits a fucking tank.
He got to face the pitcher he was traded for and doubled down the line.
And he also made a nice play on Trevor Story. Hit a ball down the line. Arenado picked it, threw him out. Boom.
Was that the backhand?
Yeah.
He went to the backhand directly in front of his body.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's easier.
I guess. I don't know.
Even if it's just off center.
Yeah.
I mean,
he picked it.
I'm going to trust
he picked it
I'm going to trust
the backhand, and paused and then threw a fucking seed to first base.
Just so good. Oh, it was so good.
It's sicko.
So as we said today, St. Louis 2 games over the Brewers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about the Brewers. I mean, the fact that like they're
You're not
still
worried about the Brewers?
No. The fact that they've won 2 straight, by the way. So fuck
let's
you.
Look
Hold
at
on,
the season.
Fuck you.
Let's look at the remaining. No. Let's look at the season through the lens of you not having Christian Yelich.
Yeah, because that's not something that you're gonna bank on being a thing moving forward.
What, having him or not having him?
Not having him.
So are you got Christian Yelich returning to this club soon?
Yeah, I didn't say soon. I'm just saying that like you're not gonna play the whole year. Like, it's back spasms. It's not HIV.
But it could also, back spasms could be because there's other issues going on.
Well, there
And
could
that's
be.
why-
I think it's a matter of, will we see him again? Yes. Can we guarantee that he'll still be there for the whole year? No. I mean, back spasms is something that's an absolute motherfucker that will keep coming up over and over again if you don't take care of it the right way. And you don't. I mean, like that's what you saw already. Like he's already returned and already gone back on the injured list because he came back sooner than I think he was ready to come back. And you want to avoid that happening over and over again. So just take the necessary time that you need to heal and get better.
My point with the back spasms is a lot of times the back spasms come from, and this, I'm not saying this is the deal with Yelly, but come from trying to brace and guard other issues. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Your back's now working overtime because there's other shit going on
Yeah.
that is now getting to the point where
What could
the
that other
muscles
shit
that are
be?
being used to protect it, those are starting to wear.
What are we
So
talking
now
about
you
here?
really got to, what's that?
What are we talking about here? We're talking legs?
No, well, you could be talking legs, but I mean, you could be talking. Now you start to talk structural. You know, now you're starting orthopedic injuries, bone, spine, hips, stuff along those lines.
We're not worried about
You know,
that
those
in
are-
Milwaukee.
So those are just.
We ain't worried about that
I'm
shit
just
in
all I
Milwaukee.
gotta say is I am more than glad that I stood my ground with the St. Louis Cardinal fan base, understanding that my Pittsburgh Pirates might not be in the thick of things come July, August through September. And I understand and I appreciate I got to say, I appreciate the fans because there are now, I think there are 5. Somebody
Raise
snuck
it.
in and got the last T-shirt. Shout out to Allison, who I don't know how they got it. But yeah, there's now 5 in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
5 Raise It tees out there in the wild.
Raise it.
But the Pirates fans, they're going to allow me to enjoy what the Cardinals are doing in the face of the Milwaukee Brewers, and I thank them for that.
On the topic of the St. Louis Cardinals, Jack Flaherty hit a fucking bomb. What was that? Was that Friday, maybe? Can't remember. It was one of those games. Jack Flaherty hit a fucking bomb over the weekend. And I think it was Bleacher Report that put out a graphic on their Instagram page. And it was like what all-time legend would you want to see face off with a player of today? And it was like Pedro Martinez versus Aaron Judge and like Shohei Ohtani versus Randy Johnson and this and that. And Flaherty tagged me in the post. And I was like, are you trying to get the smoke? Or and he's like, no. He's like, I want to see you face Babe Ruth. I was like, I thought we were actually going to go with realistic, non-fictional competition here.
Oh no, that's real. The only matchup that anybody should be here for now is 9 innings of Babe Ruth against Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
Just that dude out. I mean, just switching gloves. Can't happen. Babe's lefty, but
I'm on store.barstoolsports.com, and I'm looking at the Raise It tee.
Is it available?
It says act fast, limited stock remains, but it also says 714 people have recently viewed this product. So people are checking it out. People are like, you know what?
People are staring at it. They're like, hey, that looks good right there. It would look even better on you.
I just added it to the bag.
There you go. That a baby. Raise it.
Yeah.
So there's 6 in the wild
collection.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
I mean, it's just a great shirt. And you know, I'm not trying to. It's not one of those shirts that I'm gonna wear every day, but I'm definitely gonna wear it.
No, I have done away with the majority of like normal adult clothing, and all I have now are T-shirts that I've designed. Like I've got 4 breaded up chicken titty shirts in the rotation. So if 3 of them are dirty, all good. Got a 4th.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm about to become a proud owner of a Dallas Braden Raise It tee.
I'd like Jacob deGrom to become the proud owner of a new Latissimus Dorsey.
What the fuck is that? A lat?
Yep.
I think. I don't know. I keep hearing mixed reports about this. I keep hearing like it's bad. I mean, well, put it this way. If the Mets are saying it's not anything to be concerned about, but that his next start is going to be delayed, but that he also is they're hoping that he's going to avoid the injured list, like that doesn't make a ton of sense, does it?
No, like it's all a ton of mixed messages.
Yeah. Like he can't be fine, but also have his start get delayed.
This is all because we understand and know how finicky this injury could be. It's much like an oblique, intercostal, whatever, you know, those side injuries. And again, it's because of all of the rotation that's done. But for DeGrom, like the pull down, like that lat, man, like he's putting a lot of force on that thing.
Yeah.
But you hear people talk about how well he's built and he's, you know, like you're okay with being a wiry, sinewy type of guy on the mound. You like that as opposed to being a bigger, bulkier guy. Flexibility, range of motion, yada, yada, yada. But it's scary because, again, the reason DeGrom is as dominant as he is because of the offerings, because of the repertoire. And we've seen this guy increase average fastball velocity over the past few years, like just keeps ticking up. So there's obviously a demand on the body. There's a taxation, and I hope it's not catching up to him to the point where it's now starting to are we starting to see the wear and tear?
I hope not. I mean, it's for him to miss that time and then come back and what did he go, 5?
Yeah, 5. And this is the thing. He went 5, so he sits down and then comes back. And, thing would happen with me, I went out after the 4th inning and went back out on the mound, and I could feel my shoulder, and I was like, fuck, dude, this feels like I'm just underwater. Like, there's no getting this thing going right now. Got through 5 innings, and that was that. And DeGrom was obviously different injury, different body part, but he was at the point where he's like, look, I can't muster up what I need to do right now to get outs in the fashion that I do it. So I got to throw the flag here. Like I got to go. I got to come out. That's scary because he's acknowledged it and he's like, this just doesn't feel right, man. Doesn't feel right. So I don't know what the medical staff situation looks like for the Mets. Like how deeply was house cleaned? And I would hate to believe that Jacob deGrom would ever be a guy that they wouldn't be taking their time with and doing their due diligence with. If there's anybody that's worn a Mets uniform, it's this guy here that you don't want to screw up, right? So
I would imagine that that's the guy that you want to be careful with. Yeah.
So we'll see, man.
I'm looking at the starting 9 store. I know that we were shown them, but I didn't know that they were actually on sale. These fucking starting 9, because people keep asking, like, can you guys put out fucking starting 9 hoodies? It's like, apparently we did.
Oh, yeah.
They're out there.
Yeah, the hoodies are out there. I fired off a tweet.
I didn't fucking know that they were out there.
Yeah, a while ago. Get your hoodie in you.
I'm gonna fire off a tweet right goddamn now, Dallas. Right on this program. The new starting 9. By the way, I doubled my internet. It still sucks. It's still like they were like, yeah, like right now, you can double your internet for $10 a month, and I was like, cool, do it. And then they were like, all right, well, if you need to go to like quadruple, then it's 40. And I was like, all right, so basically, like, I'm gonna need the 40. Like, you guys, yeah.
So you quadrupled it and still nothing?
No, I haven't quadrupled it yet, but like that'll be a phone call later today.
Hey,
Yep.
look at me in the eye right now. Look at me in the eye.
Yep.
Can you quit fucking around with subpar shit? Okay, like if
What,
there's
my
an
internet?
option, anything in life. If
Well,
there's an
if
option to
someone
have the
tells
best
you-
and you can get that.
So
do that.
But like, think about it this
If
way.
it's in your means, if it's within your means, do that. Quit dicking around. Well, let me try out the 2. Well, okay, how's the 2.5? What's the
I
4
live by
look like?
myself.
Hey, we've been offering you a fucking 5 times speed since day fucking 1, guy.
Yeah.
Why are you dicking around with 2x and 3x?
But they literally, like, when I told them, they were like, well, do you live by yourself? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, all right, well, then, like, if you double it, that'll be fine. Like, if you do like the 4x, that's basically for like public
they don't
libraries.
know that you live
I was like,
on
well,
the
yeah.
internet.
Yeah, like I'm
They don't
all
understand
up on
that.
internet. All I do is internet.
Yeah.
I am the internet.
Yeah, they needed that worked out. They needed that understood. So I
The
hope
new
you make the
starting
adjustment.
9 hoodies are fire. Starting 9 lightweight hoodie. They are pretty fun. I've got like people don't understand this. I buy my own shit. So like I've got like a bag going right now that's $160.
Yeah,
And
I
it
buy
all
my own
started
shit.
because I wanted to be the proud owner of a Dallas Braden Raise It tee.
And now you're just throwing shit in the bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's what I mean. Like I every time I design a shirt, I just tell them to send me one as well.
So I did that with the Legend series. I was like I just put out.
Oh, did you have them send me one too? Right? You said you did that, right? You said those were in the mail. Have you gotten your poster yet?
No. Did you send me a poster?
Serious? Yes.
When? Did you send it to my
God.
apartment or my parents?
I don't. I think your apartment.
All right. So my apartment, I told you, we have 16 different mail rooms, and they've got like the Amazon lockers. You've got a mailbox, and there's a mail room that they don't tell you if you've received a package. The Amazon lockers, you get an email. You have to scan the email, and it opens up the locker. And then your mailbox, you can check that, whatever. But then they have this mail room where you just have to like scan your fucking door key, and then there's just like a big ass room where it's like, find your shit, see if something's in here for you. Like, so if I don't know that something's coming, then I'm not like just like checking this fucking mail room. I'll check it like once a month. So I guess that's what I'm doing later.
Go take a gander if it's there.
Yeah.
I'll ask my wife for the tracking number.
Yeah. The Mets swept the D-backs. So they're like, that's like a weird division that we thought was going to be the best. It's the reverse AL East. There's only one team with a positive run differential in the NL East, and it's the Marlins.
How crazy is that?
And they're in 4th place.
That's bananas.
Mets are in 1st place. They're 3 games over 500. The Phillies are in 2nd. They've lost 2 straight, so they're a game above 500. The Braves are at 500. They've won 2 straight to get there. The Marlins have lost 3 straight, and the Nats have lost 2 straight.
The Rat and the Raccoon, the revival of the Rat and the Raccoon. That's what's going to do it for the New York Mets. Can we get some thoughts on that? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that because I've been using this example that's right in your wheelhouse ever since this happened. I was like, those Mets teams, I mean, those A's teams back in the day that were winning back-to-back titles, those guys would beat the fuck out of each other and like talk about fucking each other's wives and all that shit and be like, hey, didn't you get a divorce, you fucking loser? And then they'd go win the World Series. Like,
yeah, people.
I think that people that aren't, I mean,
The
trust me,
swinging A's, Carrabis. They're called the swinging A's for a reason, but
yeah, I've never obviously played for a Major League Baseball team, but I get it that when guys are fighting each other, can it bring a team together? Yeah. Can it tear a team apart? Sure. But I think the fact that the most important detail of the whole story was that the Mets won that game. And Francisco Lindor hit a 2-run home run to tie that game. So
where it comes from matters. Why you're fighting matters. If it's about production and guys not on the same page and effort or whatever, you know what? I'm okay with that because that's being addressed. And if it's things that are appeared to be where we're falling short and we can do better and they're being addressed, there's no issue with that. Someone's going to get pissed for getting called out and someone's going to have to do the calling out and that's going to have to work itself out and then you move on from there. But I'm okay if that's where this is coming from. But if it's a deeper rooted issue where, guys just aren't getting along and there's just a clash in terms of how things are being done, culture in the clubhouse, that's a different story. And I don't think that was the case. And Lindor, right, struggling. And so he's not happy about not playing the way he would like to perform.
correct.
And so those are all things that factor in to guys having a short fuse, getting pissed. And if that all blows up and at the end of the day, we get the story that we got, you can be upset that you didn't get your questions answered. You could be upset that you feel like they're insulting your intelligence. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Francisco Lindor and Jeff McNeil at any point in time thought anybody
People are going to buy
was
this.
going to believe or give a fuck about a rat versus raccoon story? No.
No.
Do you think that they both understood that that was actually their way of acknowledging what had happened, but almost telling you, hey, it happened. Sure did. We won the ball game, didn't we? And we're going to clean that up in-house. Got it? You guys knew that, so did I. So without having to ask your questions and me having to ignore those questions, let's try to do it this way. I'm going to tell a stupid story. You guys are all going to understand that it had nothing to do with a fucking rat and a raccoon and that we're going to move on. So if you want to be the first one to ask the question after I've just given you this, well, you know what answer you're going to get. I'm going to play dumb, and I'm going to give you this fake bullshit. And that's what you got.
Yeah, I think there's no issue. Like I think the only time there's ever an issue with something like that is if you lose and if the team goes on it. Like perfect example, Jonathan Papelbon choking out Bryce Harper. That was bad. First of all, it wasn't in the tunnel. It wasn't in the clubhouse. It was not behind closed doors.
It's on the top step of the dugout.
It was right in the fucking dugout. Everyone saw it. I don't think that was like a reconcilable situation. It felt to me like there might have been bad blood. Like you don't just get into an argument and immediately go for someone's fucking throat. Like that seems like built up frustration. And Papelbon basically was never the same after that, and poof, he was gone. But yeah, I mean, like there was other bad instances, like Manny and Kevin Youkilis like shoving each other in the dugout, and then soon after that, Manny was gone. They traded his ass that year. But something like this, if like they're literally hugging each other immediately after at the press conference, and they're like, yeah, like hey, like we're coming up with this fake story because you don't need to know about what goes on behind the scenes. Like just know that it happened, so you have that information. Why it happened is none of your business. What you do know is that everything's fine now. Like you're watching us be totally cool with each other right now. So important thing is we won the game, and that's really it. That's the bottom line.
That's it.
Are we okay now? Yes. Did we win the game? Yes. All right, then everything else is fucking gravy.
And is it something to watch for later down the season, later down the line?
Nope.
No. Absolutely, yes.
You think so?
Sure.
I think
Like,
if it was really
for a
like a
fan
bad
perspective.
blood issue, they wouldn't
Oh,
have like
yeah,
immediately
no.
been hugging each other.
No, yeah. Let me clean that up. Something to pay attention to, meaning if the Mets struggle again, do we look for any sort of riff in this place again later down the line? That's like, why do you look? Because it's happened before. But to the point that we've just both made, no. Like, is it a looming issue right now? I don't believe so.
Yeah,
But
I
should
thought it was
another
super weird
steep-
because, like, we've had Jeff McNeil on the podcast.
Mhm.
I met Francisco Lindor in Cleveland during the All-Star game. They're two of the nicest guys. So, like, I thought it was super weird when that was like a dust up type deal. I was like, there's always one like Hardo. There's always one like Brett Gardner or Kevin Youkilis type situation where it's like a guy that just is super high strung or super like let's fucking go, like super serious. Those aren't those guys. Like they're high energy, but they're pretty nice, easygoing individuals. I don't know. I don't even think there's a point to really speculate what it could have been about. I mean, there's
No.
obviously frustrations
I'll say
with
this.
not playing well.
There's a level of aggression there with Jeff McNeil that I sense, that I can feel.
I mean,
just watching him play.
It could be
And
as
you're also-
little as like, Francisco Lindor is the new guy, but you're the face of the team now. It's like, I've been here for a while and I've been performing well. You're not performing well, but you're the face of the team. Like,
They're also, you got to think, they're working very closely together.
well, there was a defensive play where they kind of like crossed in front of each other and an out was not recorded and there was no communication and it was kind of an ugly play. So like that's basically where it started, I would imagine.
Yes, and those things get worked out. That's what, like, I just watched Kevin Kiermaier jump in front.
We never
Of
even
Randy
talked about
Arozarena.
that. That was bad. The press conference was bad.
That was wow. Yeah, I can't believe we I don't know why
we
didn't
never
even talk about that.
it was over a weekend. I think it was like a Friday or a Saturday, and then we recorded on like a Monday or Tuesday. So we either forgot or it was old news by then. But that was bad. And I like Kevin Kiermaier, and I know that a lot of his teammates like him, but that was a bad look to do it, and it was an even worse look to defend it in the way that he did. Like, you basically undermine Randy Arozarena as, I mean, yeah, he's a rookie, but he's a fucking star player already. And like, you're going into this situation, be like, you know what? Like, it was almost like a fucking, like an Eastbound and Down. Like it's like, yeah, man. So like, I just jumped right in front of him because like I got a rocket arm and like, I know that. So obviously I'm going to make that catch.
Dude,
and
the press conference had me like, and this is why I love doing what I do, is because I heard the press conference, and then on the broadcast the next day, I talked about, and I was like, and Kevin Kiermaier, who has a very particular set of skills, a set of skills that make him a problem for fly balls. And like, and it was just because I had said, like, listening to that press conference was like listening to a line from Liam Neeson in Taken.
yeah,
Like, let me preface this by saying I've got a skill set that allows me to do, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be like, I'm gonna figure out a way in so many words to tell you how fucking sweet I am and how much better I am than anybody else on the field the minute that I step on the field.
it's terrible. I thought it was awful. And I like Kevin Kiermaier, but that
And
had
so do
me-
I. And I'll say this, to his credit though, you have to believe that shit. Those are the types of things that you have to believe day in, day out to get to the big leagues, to stay in the big leagues. Sometime they come out and they show out, and you don't need that. But he believes that, and he will tell you that to your face.
Yeah.
And how many people have that in them? Like, even given that opportunity to gloss it over, be a good teammate, say, I understand guys are in position. He could have said a number of things, but he chose to deliver the truth. And He got banged for it. People don't like him for it, or people took issue with it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Take issue, call it a bad look. It is what it is. But that's why players are also reserved when it comes to moments like that. So I'll say thank you to Kevin Kiermaier for not shying away from what he believes, which is that he is the best outfielder in Major League Baseball. And he believes that he could be one of maybe two guys in the outfield necessary at any point in time. He can cover it all. He believes that.
Yeah. I know this last part of the segment talks about the Red Sox taking 3 out of 4, having the best record in baseball, but we don't need to go there. Everyone already knows that. Do you love mayo?
No.
Well, if you find the sight of velvety smooth mayonnaise heavenly versus horrible, you are in luck because Kraft Mayo is signing a new ultimate mayo lover to a real mayo endorsement deal this season. You may have heard of Mayo Man from the viral video of 2019, the ultimate personality who showed his love for mayo on the sporting world stage. Kraft is looking for the next Mayo Man or woman to sign them to a $10,000 Mayo endorsement to top Mayo lover of iconic meme fame. For the first half of the month, until May 14th, Kraft Mayo will be taking entries and submissions for the next face of the brand. If you find the sight of velvety smooth mayonnaise heavenly, submit your best videos of why you should win the Mayo endorsement on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok with the hashtag Kraft Mayo endorsement. Kraft Mayo is the mayo of mayonnaise, and they are looking for the same passion, originality, and personality as Mayo Man. It is time to show your stuff. Learn more about the contest and rules at craftmayoendorsement.com or check out Kraft Mayo's social feeds at Real Kraft Mayo. And in the meantime, go get yourself some delicious Kraft Mayo. Yeah, we got fucking a new segment here, and it's called Starting Nine. We also we didn't have the fucking Mount Rushmore. Yeah.
No. Hey, busy weekend, long weekend.
Yeah, we got to do that. But anyways, 9 players we can hit on quickly who have been outstanding this year. We haven't given a ton of love to yet. Let's start with Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant, this could have gone either way. This could have gone either way because Chris Bryant was a guy that the Cubs have been talking about trading for like the last 2 fucking years. And he did an interview with Redline Radio that got picked up nationally about how he was just like, yeah, like I've kind of like lost a little bit of my passion for baseball, and I'm not enjoying it as much as I used to. And I mean, like I feel like that comes with the territory when you've given so much to the city and the organization, and then everything you hear is like, yeah, let's get rid of this guy. We don't want this guy. So that can go either way. That can either motivate a player, or that can have them coming in feeling a little down. Maybe you're unmotivated to perform. But that's not been the case for Chris Bryant, who is the league leader in doubles, the league leader in slug. He's hitting 308. He's been on base at a near 400 clip, 397. He's leading the league with the 650 slug, 1047 OPS. Leading the league in OPS plus at 190, and he's got 76 total bases, which also leads the league. I mean, Chris Bryant, I want to say it was I think it was probably going into 2019. I picked him to win the MVP again. I feel like I was a little early on that. I mean, Chris Bryant, despite being on a mediocre Cubs team, we're talking MVP season again in his age 29 season when a lot of people, I mean, I still think ultimately he could be dealt at the deadline because, I mean, that's the Brewers division, and I think that teams will probably realize that. I think at some point they'll probably be like, you know what, we're gonna hard sell, and the Cardinals will,
No, you got a good shot at it because the Cardinals don't need a third baseman, and if you're trying to take over that division, you're gonna need help.
No, we're fine, but I think with Chris Bryant, that's a guy that can play. He can play the outfield. He can play third base, and he's gonna fucking hit. But I think the asking price for Chris Bryant was so high during the offseason that teams kind of backed off a little bit and they're like, oh well, let's see what he looks like. Well, now we know what he looks like. So does that make his asking price higher, or does it stay the same because we're talking about renting him for half a season versus a full season?
Well, because he's only going to be there half a season. You're asking if that's going to change based on what? Like,
I'm saying, like, when you're talking to the Cubs last winter about Chris Bryant, and you're like, hey, like, what'll it take? And the asking price was high. Now you're seeing what he's actually doing this year, which is basically being one of the best, one of the best hitters.
Yeah,
in baseball.
controllability always factors in.
Yeah,
always. So I mean, you're hoping that he continues to produce, so he can meet that happy medium between what you may have gotten should there be an extra year of control attached to him.
I think he'll get dealt.
There's a reason that I picked Chris Bryant for my MVP in 2020 is because I thought that with the new skipper there, that, hey, he's got his boy there. He's a vibe guy.
He's a vibe guy.
That didn't work out. And to your point now, vibe changes, production changes. So I don't know that I see Chris Bryant hanging around for a while either. I think that's probably a move that's going to be made. Yordan Alvarez. We're talking about a dude who, for the better part of his career, in comparison to some other guys along those same lines.
Dallas, do you have the balls?
Like Mike Trout. What are you saying?
Do you have the fucking balls to call Yordan Alvarez a top 5 hitter in Major League Baseball? Do you have the balls to do that?
I mean, if we're talking overall, all around power threat, bat to ball, on base, power in a short time, it's tough to not have him in that conversation. It's tougher to have him outside that conversation, I think, than it is to have him inside the conversation.
I mean,
top 10? Sure.
Top 10?
Yes.
Top 10.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would have to look more at like
I'll look at it for you.
Like batted ball, whiff rate, and then maybe get into some savant stuff, barrel percentage, hard hit rate.
Since he debuted, was it June 9th, 2019? Minimum 100 games played.
No. Better than Mookie? No.
I'm looking at it right now. He's hit 320 with a 1045 OPS since he debuted. 117 games. Let's see where that OPS ranks. Let's see, because he's the 320. I think is 6th. Okay, yeah, it's him and Mike Trout. It's since he debuted. Mike Trout 1061, Yordan Alvarez 1045, Nelson Cruz 1026, Juan Soto 1014. Those are the only 4 players with an OPS of 1,000 or better since Yordan Alvarez debuted. And is fair to note that they have played more games than him over that span because of the injury. But this is minimum 100 games played.
Yeah, so that's pretty good company, is it not?
I would say, yeah. I would say being in the same breath as Mike Trout since you've debuted. I mean, the isolated power, it's 344 for Trout, and it's 323 for Alvarez. The strikeout percentage, 24.1% for Trout, 25.2% for Alvarez.
What about K to walk?
1.56 for Trout, 2.23 for Alvarez. Yeah, Trout walks more, 15.5% to 11.3%.
Yeah, slightly more discipline. That'll come with age.
Sure. The weighted on-base average is almost identical. 432 for Trout, 426 for Alvarez.
Yeah, I think it's tough to not have him in that conversation. Since he's debuted.
Yeah. To compare him to Mike motherfucking Trout. Wow.
And that's not you or I comparing him. That's the numbers.
That's the numbers. This is facts. This is facts that we're dealing with here.
Factual basis.
Yeah.
How about your boy Jesse Winker?
Big Wink.
Oh, Winky?
I tried to tell people this 2-3 fucking years ago, and everyone thought I was crazy. I was like, Jesse Winker is that dude on the Cincinnati Reds, and I've even tried to start the movement that Jesse Winker is elite. And this season, he's leading the league in OPS and batting average for the year. He's in 359 with a 1052. And if you look at it from the start of last season, which he had a very good year last year, 932 OPS. Since the start of last season, so we're talking about 80 games, he's hitting 298 with a 980 OPS, 18 homers, 15 doubles. Yeah, this guy is not a joke. It's not a game with Big Wink.
Well, he's taking a little pressure off my man Eugenio.
He homered last night.
And the trek for 50, I know. But unfortunately, Eugenio was also another candidate for my cold when it come to stay hot or not. And I didn't like that.
Yeah, Reds dropped dick on the Pirates last night.
Yeah, it was final 14.
Diesel.
It's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate.
Yeah. Team
Who's
ERA, raise it.
Yeah. How about this guy, though? Walshy. Jared Walsh.
Yeah.
For the folks who don't understand and don't appreciate what Walshy has done, you got to remember, a few years ago, this is a dude who was, and I'm not saying he was Shohei before. Shohei, calm down. He was a guy who was a part of that two-way game plan. Could pitch a little for you, get you some innings off the mound, play first base, play outfield. Obviously, he's hitting if he's doing those two things. So just kind of a Swiss Army knife for the Angels to have in their back pocket. Well, given the opportunity with some regular at-bats, finding himself a home defensively, Jared Walsh has lit shit up.
Yeah.
Lit it up. Couldn't be happier for this dude either. Just because not having the guarantee and look, straight up, if he was going to have opportunities, he's staring at Albert Pujols going, feel like I might be able to get some of those opportunities. Feel like those at-bats could be some of my at-bats as well.
Do you think he's better than Mike Trout?
Not quite. He's not there yet.
Okay.
Not there yet.
What does he have to do to get there?
A whole lot. He's got a whole lot to. I don't think he needs to worry about that though, Carrabis.
He's not that far off though.
No, as of right now, what's his line look like? He's hitting 350, close to 350, right?
I think he's hitting north of 350, is he not?
OPS over 1,000. Like Jared Walsh is raking.
Jared Walsh. Jared Walsh is hitting 347 with a 1020 OPS last year in 32 games. So this is right now like, what was it? The Angels play last night? No. Were they off?
No, they did play, I believe.
Who'd they play? The Astros? No.
Yes.
They did?
I think so.
Okay, because
Correa
is 2 for his last 32. I know this is like a highlight, some good players. But the Angels, Jared Walsh played in his 33rd game yesterday, let's say. And that's a career high for games played. So last year, with limited opportunity, 60-game season, he played in 32 games, and he hit 293 with a 971 OPS. And this year, he's played in 33 games. So if you want to date it back, I know it's not the biggest sample size, but Jared Walsh has basically played between this year and last year, let's call it a full abbreviated season. And I mean, he's done well for himself. He's done well for himself.
We've got breaking news.
Hold on.
And this explains why my phone hasn't stopped fucking ringing this morning or in the last 15 minutes. You ready for this? Jeff Passan
Oh, boy.
is reporting that the Oakland A's will start exploring relocation possibilities after Major League Baseball suggested the organization consider moving to other cities if the Howard Terminal Stadium proposal is not approved by local politicians.
So wait, the Oakland A's are leaving Oakland?
The Oakland A's are what?
They're leaving Oakland? Is that what they said?
What this says is that Major League Baseball has instructed the Oakland A's to consider moving to other cities if the Howard Terminal Stadium proposal is not approved by local politicians.
So would they still be called the Oakland A's or?
Oh, no, buddy. No. The Oakland A's move, you will never see Dallas Braden ever again.
I mean, so you wouldn't follow the Sacramento A's?
They're not going to Sacramento, buddy.
What about like the San Jose A's?
They're not going to San Jose either. They're not staying.
What about
anywhere,
the Santa Clara A's?
They're not staying anywhere near here. Would be my guess.
The Santa Monica A's.
Yeah, probably not a California-based organization.
So if the A's left, what if they
the A's if the A's leave, I'm gone. You don't see I do something else.
Like you don't even follow baseball anymore?
I move to
Montana?
I'm off the grid.
I could
later.
see you going to Montana.
Gone.
You basically do like already live in Montana.
So that's fun. I can't wait to get done with this podcast and field those phone calls.
What do you think the odds are that this happens?
Jared, I have to be careful about answering those questions. Because I would like to think that the interest of the fan base is something that is considered when decisions like this are made. And I just don't know that is anywhere close to the top of the list when it comes to business decisions like this being made by any sports franchise. Not the A's specifically, any sports franchise. So, yeah.
That's too bad.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's too bad.
Yeah.
Would
It's tough.
be a real shame.
That'd be unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always there's always room for you in Boston, Dallas. I know you love the city.
That's it. If it's written in the stars, bud. They uproot the Oakland A's and move them from Oakland. I belong to the Oakland A's fans.
I just got a text message with a link to this report, and the text message accompanying it is Dallas functional right now?
Yeah. Might have to. This might be trust tree territory here.
Well, I mean, hey, you're always welcome here, Dallas. We got good baseball. We got a great city.
Yeah, I'm going to be totally honest with you. There's some other guys on this list we're supposed to talk about. I could give a fuck about that right now. If I'm being completely and totally honest. So, Jared Walsh, great job. Trevor Rogers, keep throwing the baseball well. Matt Barnes, things are looking good for you too. Congratulations. Taijuan Walker, huge addition to the New York Mets. Love everything about your game. Have loved it since you were in Seattle. Love that things are working out for you now. Danny Duffy, you keep chucking it, bud.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the Royals' offense. You can only do so much. You keep dealing on the mound. Things will fall into place. That takes care of that.
Yep. I just want to say this real quick about Jared Walsh. 323 with a 999 OPS since the start of last year. That is 5th in the big leagues. It's DJ LeMahieu, Jose
And
Iglesias.
That's for the Angels, right?
Yes.
For the Angels, who I believe have they just re-upped their long-term deal in Anaheim with the city of Anaheim?
Yeah, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, formerly of California.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, I think next week we should start our Mount Rushmore off with the Oakland A's.
Yeah, Shane Green back with the Braves, by the way. So here come the Bravos. Dallas, any final thoughts?
Yeah, looks like I'm getting a buddy pass to Vegas.
I mean, hey, I'm just saying. I'm going to throw it out there one more time. We got good baseball here. We got good baseball people, good fans, great team. It's not a state that you have to compete with other teams or other organizations. It's just Massachusetts. We got a whole fucking region here dedicated to one baseball team. Think about that. You come over here, maybe you get a job with Nesson, and the next thing you know, like you're the face of New England. I mean, Tom Brady's gone. Tom Brady is gone. David Ortiz, gone. Zdeno Chara, gone. Larry Bird, gone. I mean, we've got vacancy here for a real face of the region. I'll give your agent a call. We'll start the conversation.
Yeah. Nope.
Big 3-game series coming up. Red Sox, the A's of somewhere. They belong.
The best part about this.
Hmm?
The best part about this is
What is
I'm going to go sit in a studio surrounded by zero fans.
And have to pretend like this isn't happening.
Yep. Yep. That's why when I say the work that I do sometimes isn't even about the work that I do. Sometimes it's about the work that I don't do.
Yeah. That's wow. Oakland A's to explore relocating after MLB suggested moving if new stadium proposal is not approved. Jeff Passan. Do we want to get Jeff Passan on for his comments, or?
Yeah, sure. What you call old Hefe? Jeff, what are you hearing? I'm going to tell Jeff. My phone was blowing up.
Let's see. Let's see if he answers.
Rocket.
Hey, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good. Are we live?
We are live to tape. Only it's a different show. We are doing Starting 9, and I'm here with an inconsolable Dallas Braden who wants to know the future of his baseball organization. I mean, like, this is a guy that he might just retire, like, entirely if the A's leave Oakland. Do we know what the likelihood is that they'll actually leave Oakland?
Hey, Dallas.
Yeah, Jeff.
He asked if you gamble.
Oh yeah. I've been known to throw some ducats out.
What would you think about a baseball team in Las Vegas?
I mean, I can tell you right now, if the blueprint is what the Knights have done, the proud owner of that organization would have a very bright future, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, though.
I'm not saying that the Oakland A's are going to move. I think that what happened today was not in small part a leverage play, because there's frustration. And there's frustration not just in Oakland about the fact that for 20 years now, they've been trying to get a new ballpark built, and they've looked in Oakland, and then they looked at Fremont, and then they looked in San Jose, and then they looked at Laney College.
Hey, you don't have to sell me on this. I'm the guy who's looked at multiple renderings of multiple would-be future ballparks that I could have been playing in myself. So I get the frustration.
Which is ridiculous, because you've been retired for how many years now?
10, roughly 10, a fucking decade.
Yeah, like your shit was over a while ago, and they still don't have a stadium.
Yeah, it's tough to come to terms with. I do understand, and again, I do have, I don't want to call it inside information or inside knowledge, but I have knowledge that does, impact my thought process on stuff like this. But to your point, I think one of the key things that I take away from that, and as you mentioned, the leverage aspect of this isn't a, hey guys, pack your shit up. It's not working out here. It's now time to find a new place. That's not what this is. This is just about the, hey, we've done a lot of work to get this place figured out. We've put a lot of wheels in motion to get this site approved and figured out. And it feels like we're at that point now where it's time to raise our hands. It's time to spout out yay or nay and get this shit done. And in the event, Jeff, that it's not getting done.
That's exactly right. This is the Oakland A's want to put a ring on it. And this is the commitment-phobic person who's afraid that that ring is going to be extraordinarily expensive. And when you're talking about a $12 billion mixed-use development, which is what this would be, that's a lot for any city to handle. But the fact that I will say this: the fact that the A's want to publicly fund or privately fund, that's an important distinction there. They want to privately fund the entire stadium, $1 billion plus dollars. I think it should go a long way, and the fact that they want to commit to Oakland should go a long way, considering that the Warriors didn't, and considering that the Raiders didn't. Oakland is a city that's at risk now of losing all of its professional sports teams, and there are plenty of cities out there that would love to have the A's playing in a ballpark in their downtown.
And I can't argue with any of those assessments. None of those. Those are all extremely accurate. The one thing I will say, the one thing that you pointed out, is the one thing that I do want people who heard this news and took that big, deep breath like, oh, my fucking God, they're leaving. The fact that there is private loot behind this. Yo, we don't need taxpayers' money. We're going to come up out of our own pocket. We're going to get this done. We just need the go-ahead. We just need you to say, yeah, put the fucking shovel in the ground. That's the one thing that I will today, during our broadcast and leading up to it, explain to fans. Just keep that in mind. Just please keep that much in mind until we get the final decision. Is that a fair stance for me to take?
Yeah, I think let's also say this. It's not like this is not going to cost Oakland anything. The city's gonna be paying too. And
oh yeah,
anyone who has looked at stadium deals in the past with cities knows that they tend to be better for the organization than they are for the city. So I understand why the Oakland City Council and why Libby Schaaf, the mayor, are doing the due diligence that they are. But the A's are tired of waiting. And honestly, I don't blame them for that one bit. I think in the end, they're finally, maybe I would have said this 10 years ago and looked really stupid, but I think they're finally, over the next few months, is going to be a resolution. And we're going to know for sure whether the Oakland A's are the Oakland A's for the long haul, or whether we're going to be looking at the Las Vegas Athletics.
And Jeff, once again, I'm going to agree with you there. Just based on things I know, based on things I'm sure you're becoming aware of, I do feel that we are at the precipice. Soon.
Well put, Dallas Braden. Carrabis,
soon.
Why don't you ever make this much sense?
I don't know. I choose to be the chaos in the world.
And succeed
someone needs to start the dialogue. Someone
as
needs
Jarred,
to create the dialogue that other people have to scramble to try to explain.
As Jarred likes to say, we are a yin and yang. Yep.
Well, Megaphone
Jeff,
Balls, we appreciate you taking the time.
Always my pleasure, gentlemen.
All right.
Have a good rest of the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll be talking to you soon.
Look forward to it.
All right, bye. There you go. Jeff Megaphone balls passing. ESPN with the report that we could be looking at the Las Vegas Athletics. Wow. That would really be something. That would really be something.
Yeah.
That'd be tough.
Can't
It'd
wait.
be tough because, the Oakland doesn't really have anything else. So
We got Oaksterdam.
Yeah, so they don't really have anything else besides.
No, you want to get your degree on how to grow weed? Come to Oaksterdam.
Okay. Well, for your sake, I hope they figure something out. I hope the Oakland A's stay in Oakland. It's not like I love going to Vegas. I only really went to Vegas one time.
Yeah, is this where do I got to start walking around the Coliseum and start looking for color coded stickers and shit that people are starting to claim? So when they tear this down, people are just like, "Oh, that's mine. That's mine. I'm taking that with me. That's mine."
Yeah, I think it's like this could just be posturing. This is all part of the game, Dallas. You know how this works. So keep your head up, pal. And don't let this upcoming series get you down. Okay, I know times are tough right now. You got to play the best team in baseball right after hearing that the Oakland A's might be leaving Oakland. So this is
Why do I feel like the Blue Jays have more of a home right now than the A's do?
Because that's true.
It shouldn't feel that way.
That's true. I mean, the Blue Jays are basically.
The Blue Jays have multiple
The Blue Jays
homes.
are the Jeff Bezos of the MLB. They've got a home in Toronto. They've got a home
Blue Jays
in
have a
Dunedin.
beach
They've
house.
got a home in fucking Buffalo.
They winter in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. They've got 3 homes. You've got no homes, which is really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. I hope you figure all this out.
It feels like rent is due.
Mm-hmm. So would hate to see a series lost to the best team in baseball on top of getting evicted. But, that is the reality that we face
Looks
today.
like I'm going to have to put on my stilettos and pantyhose and pucker these lips up and see what I can do about keeping the green and gold in Oakland. We go!